at the Ugandan National Museum trying to get a better sense really of the tourism sector in this country, and for some insight on that I'm joined by Eric Ntalo. He is a public relations officer working within the sector here in Uganda. Eric, thank you so much for chatting to us.
It's a pleasure.
Firstly, we are at the National Museum. There are all these huts behind me. Tell me what is going on and what stories they're telling us about the history of the people of Uganda.
All right, this is the Uganda National Museum, like you said earlier, and it's where the relics or the history of Uganda is summarized, put in place. So the kind of huts you see here are for the different respective regions in Uganda. Now Uganda, it's well known as #1 culturally diverse country in the whole world with over 65 tribes. Now this hut in particular is for Ankole. Ankole is in Western Uganda, and a kingdom known for having the long-horned cattle. You know the long-horned cattle are an attraction in the US. So this is Ankole House, different kingdoms. Okay. So it depicts the culture trends.
It's a fantastic way of displaying your history.
Yeah, of course.
Beyond the history then, what are some of the main tourist attractions in Uganda?
All right. Uganda is a blessed country, I must say. No doubt it was dubbed the Pearl of Africa by Sir Winston Churchill. Uganda as a country is blessed with a beautiful landscape and weather. Now, most of the attractions are wildlife based. So people will come in, a majority coming to enjoy our wildlife, of course putting into consideration that we have the religious attractions, we have the cultural attractions. So among the wildlife attractions, we have Murchison Falls National Game Park. You know, we have 10 national game parks in Uganda and 12 game reserves. So Murchison Falls National Game Park is known for the most powerful waterfalls in the whole world. It's located northwest of the capital, Kampala. Beautiful waterfalls, lots of activities like game drives, launch trips, and we have the Big Five. You can find the Big Five. En route, we have the white rhinos in Nakasongola, and then when you go to Murchison itself, of course you find the lion, king of the jungle. You'll find the leopard, elephant, buffalo. So it's a beautiful park. The other park I would recommend is Queen Elizabeth National Game Park, named after the Queen of England. Western Uganda, Queen Elizabeth is known for its biodiversity. Talk of the water bodies, the Kazinga Channel, Lake George, Lake Edward, and more or less you will enjoy a lot of activities like bird watching. You can do chimp tracking in Chambura Gorge. Of course, the launch trips are there, and we have fine accommodations, a lot of investments in that area. Luxury hotels like Moya Safari Lodge, and other establishments in the park. So it's a very beautiful place.
What kind of visitor numbers do you have in Uganda? Because I mentioned this to you earlier, that you're competing in a region really that is quite attractive and offers similar attractions, as it were.
I cannot really establish the real statistics, but what I can say that in 2015-2016 national budget, tourism contributed 7.1 billion to the GDP of the country. That is about 9% of the country's total GDP, which was an increment from 6.3, that was in 2014 to 2015. So you could see from 6.3% to 9%, that is an increment of about 3.3, which shows that our visitor numbers are increasing, the increase, and a lot is needed. Of course, putting in consideration that we're working with a low budget. The tourism budget is low. We need an increment if we're going to compete with the rest of our neighbors, you know, in the region. But I think with all the efforts, you know, in the tourism industry and government support, we're going to get there. Yeah. These are the neighbors of ours, the countries, the neighboring countries. I'm sure we shall give them a run for their money. Indeed. Yeah, but we're doing well.
Okay. Yeah. In terms of growing the sector, you mentioned support from government. But for you as tourism authorities and people working in the sector, in terms of marketing, I would argue and challenge you that you don't market the country very well.
I would partly say no. We're doing our best. Like you said earlier, or I introduced earlier, I work with Number Island Chimpanzee Sanctuary, and we take care of chimpanzees, orphan chimpanzees on Lake Victoria. But when you look at, you know, we're having a lot of efforts bring both together. Right now, we are pushing the domestic tourism. Let me begin with home.
Yes.
We're having an initiative called Tulambule. Tulambule is all about interesting the domestic masses, you know, to embrace tourism, to visit, to go out of their confines and visit these places around us. And this is an initiative brought about by our current Minister of Tourism, State Minister, Chawanda Godfrey Subi. And many people are interested. It's been an opener for many people that, hey, you know, you don't need to travel, go to Asia, go to Europe.
Sure.
We have a lot of attractions in our country.
Do you make it affordable for the domestic market?
Definitely.
Because often that's the challenge.
Definitely, we have special rates. It's all about awareness.
Yes.
We have special rates, and these special rates are, for instance, Uganda Wildlife Authority, that is mandated to conserve our national parks. We have rates for Ugandans. We have rates for the East Africans, of course, East African rate. We have rates for foreign residents and then non-foreign residents. Now, these rates, Ugandans are given a chance. For instance, if you're going to track gorillas, East African rate high season is $75 if you're an East African citizen. If you're foreign, non-foreign resident, $600. So there's an opportunity for Ugandans to make sure they visit these places and appreciate the attractions around. So I think we're doing a lot of initiatives, and of course we have been participating in Indaba,
Yes.
in your country.
Come out of Indaba, yeah.
Definitely. I think we put up a good show. Last year, the other year, we were the best. You remember, best exhibitors. All those are efforts. We go to Indaba, South Africa. We go to Berlin Expo in Germany. We go for the World Travel Markets in London. All these efforts to make sure we promote our country. So Uganda Tourism Board is doing a great job to promote the country. I know a lot more is needed, but I believe way forward, the support we are getting and the direction in which we're taking, we shall get there.
And the hospitality aspect of your tourism, are there enough beds in Uganda?
Well, I must say the beds are available, the occupancy, but like I said, we have certain challenge as to why we're not getting perhaps full occupancy. One, right now, I mean, in the region, you'll hear of other countries having, say, national airlines, national carriers. Uganda lacks a national carrier, but the synergies in the industry, the tourism sector, with the government, we are yet to have a national carrier in Uganda, revive a national carrier. We believe with the national carrier, we shall have more traffic directly to our country. For the recent times, we've had flights going through Nairobi, you know, go through Nairobi, then come to Uganda. So we tend to lose out on these numbers because when they get to Kenya, perhaps they're forced to stay or they get interested in staying. And the rates,
it expensive.
Yeah,
it makes it expensive.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we believe with the national carrier, we shall have more numbers coming here. And then with more exposure at these expos that they attend, and the partnerships we're having with the different organizations, we shall realize the numbers. And I believe sooner or later, I'm sure you will come here to stay.
I'm sure you will. It's a beautiful country.
It's a
We'll
very
certainly
beautiful
come
country.
back.
Yeah.
I want a house along Lake Victoria myself personally. So
There is land.
I'll take a closer look.
There is land.